Guys, welcome back to episode 8 of Tank Chats. Today we got the Carrier Personnel Halftrack M3. With that, let's hop into the review. With the U.S. Army trying to ditch their horse cavalry, development of this vehicle started in 1940 and 1941. By the time these finished production in 1945, there were 53,000 of these half-track builds. It was mainly used by armored cavalry regiments and support troops. So with that, we'll get more into the history. All right, so with this vehicle being very heavily modified, there were like probably 12 different variants of this vehicle that were modified. It was meant to be given out to the British Commonwealth for U.S. service and the Red Army service. So it was actually part of the Lease program during World War II. All right, so a little interesting fact about these vehicles, they're actually known as the Purple Heart Box due to the nod towards the award given out to U.S. service members who were wounded, because some of the U.S. generals strictly said that this vehicle was capable, but just our crews and personnel weren't trained as well to handle this vehicle as it was meant to be. So these vehicles were mainly used for armored infantry regiments and armored cavalry regiments, such as us. Not much else to really say about the history of this vehicle. It served in the Pacific Theater, the European Theater, in Africa, Sicily, Italy, all over the place. It was in U.S. service the whole time during World War II, but that was about the limitation to its service. I saw a little bit in Korea, but not too much. And with that, we're going to tell you some of the variants of this vehicle, and I'm going to try and throw some pictures in for you guys to show you different variants of this vehicle. So with that, I'll start talking about it. All right, so like I said, you guys, there were over 12 variants of this vehicle produced. A lot were actually turned into mortar carriers, and a lot were turned into howitzer motor carriages, as well as the most common one that was seen for cavalry and infantry support troops was one that would have a mount above where the TC would sit for a 50 cal, a ring similar to the M8 howitzer motor carriage. So that would be fitted on top there. And with that, there's not much else to say about this vehicle. There's just a lot of variants produced. There are a lot of them produced. And with that, we're going to hop into the tour of the vehicle. All right, so hopping right into the front of the tour of the vehicle, you guys. Obviously, you got your headlights, you got your blackout markers on the front up here, and they're bush guards. You actually have a towing winch here. I'm not sure exactly how much it could tow, but on the side here, if you'll get a shot of that, it says 800, so I'm thinking maybe 800 kilograms or 800 pounds, something like that. So right here, you have the front fender. Obviously a big front fender, and if you get a shot of the front of the vehicle, this thing's just got a mean profile on it. Like, this is a badass vehicle. But, so if we take a look at it here, we got a 1st Armored Regiment, 6th, I'm gonna say infantry, and headquarters 6th. So this would be probably a platoon level vehicle. Here, you got the front, you got the big old US star on the front. Engine down there inside. We'll talk a little bit about that more here in a minute. All right, so this vehicle was mainly built by Diamond Motor Company, Auto Car Company, also White Motor Company, and it had a white 160 AX 147 horsepower engine that could crank this baby up to about 45 miles an hour, but if you take out the speed governor, the no fun switch, I could say you'd probably get around 50 if you really wanted to push her hard enough. So with that, we are going to hop in to inside the vehicle because there's no turret on this, so we're gonna hop inside. Let's go take a look. Hey guys, welcome to inside of the vehicle. Yeah, I barely fit in this thing. This is not meant for my height, but we're inside the vehicle right now. You can see your gear shift levers here, standard steering wheel. We're gonna go over the suspension, all that stuff when we climb out to the side of the vehicle. Well, this is what you'd be looking at if you were driving one of these vehicles, if the cameraman will get a shot right here. So what we got here on the front is actually, we got some armor plates. Just like how when I was in Hawaii, they had the armor plates for the bunkers. You would slide these down so they have a little extra protection. It was about half an inch of armor that was on these vehicles, so enough to stop some small caliber rounds and things like that. So with that, we're gonna hop more up into the rear portion of the vehicle. But this is just your driver's station here. You got all your gear shift levers, windshield wipers, all that stuff. So we'll hop into the back of the vehicle, you guys. All right, I could not stand sitting in that driver's seat any longer. That was ridiculous. But this vehicle would actually have a crew of 13. You'd have your driver, your TC or machine gunner. Then you would have all your riflemen or cavalry troops in the back. And what I'm actually next to right now is some mounts for rifles and stuff like that. Also, if they wanted to get creative, on each corner or these spots for a top covering, they could put machine gun posts. So sometimes they'd have a 50 cal or 2 or 3 30 cals in the back of this, but also because of the space in this vehicle, they could turn it into a howitzer motor vehicle. So you could picture a 75 millimeter or like an 87 millimeter mortar, 81 millimeter mortar in the back here. That's also what some of these vehicles were used for. And you can actually see through the bottom here, you see some of the suspension too, that we're going to get into once we get outside the vehicle here. But that pretty much covers the inside, you guys. I kind of get creative with this one because it's all open. So that's actually one of the big complaints that troops had at the beginning, was the open top of the vehicle. But soon, later variants were coming out that had armored coverings or hatches over the top that could cover the vehicle, and less casualties started to happen as technology progressed. All right, so hopping into the side of the vehicle, you guys, there's actually a lot of interesting stuff to show you on the side of this vehicle, a little more interesting than some of the tanks that we go through. But right here, you actually have a mount for a jerry can or extra fuel. Like I said, I didn't say earlier, but the engine could handle about 200 miles of use with a fuel capacity of 60 US gallons held in the engine. Also, you can see right here, you can see one of the actual, I'm gonna see if it'll go up, the armor panel for the side to give the crew a little extra protection. Is that what that would be used for? Right here, this would be used for like extra fuel, extra track links, extra bags, anything they'd want to put on here. Kind of like little stowage bustles right here. Down here, you got the vertical volute suspension system, very similar to the Stewart's, I think. And you can see the track links here. They're actually metal, and you can see the suspension. If you want to get a shot of the springs and the support wheel up in here, that's where all that is. You actually see the spring back there. So that's what you got going for, because it is considered a half track. So this would be the half track portion of the vehicle. We'll go up to the other side and we'll look at that part of the suspension. All right, so up here at the front, you guys, you got your regular rubberized wheel, because obviously the front of this vehicle is more supposed to be like a car, hence a half track. The cameraman's probably gonna laugh at me. Try this for a tongue twister. Semi-elliptical, longitudinal, leaf spring suspension. Holy cow. I can't tell you how hard that was for me to memorize, you guys. But if you want, the cameraman can come up here and get a good shot of it up in here. Actually kind of see an idea of how it works down in there. And with that, that pretty much covers the side, you guys. With that, we will hop into the back of the vehicle. All right, so hopping into the back of the vehicle, you guys, you got the, oh crap, I'm gonna fall off handle back here. Used to climb up on top of the vehicle. You have your rear lights, the rear fender lights, and your marker lights right there, both sides. These are step-ups, and I believe they could have been stowage boxes, but they were welded shut. They've been used for extra equipment and things like that. You also got the bumper markings back here, and the very common but often forgotten toe pintle, just like we see on today's vehicles. With that, we're gonna hop into the closeout of this video, you guys. Guys, the things I do in these videos for you, I climb back into the driver's seat. Thank you again for tuning in to episode 8 of Tank Chats. Today's video was on the M3 half track, and I also would like to give a shout out to my girl Colleen. I love you, baby. You're gonna see her in videos come up here real soon. And oh shoot, with that, I gotta get going. The enemy's coming.